Donald Trump's campaign says the conviction in his hush money trial actually helped the campaign with a major fundraising boost. The campaign says that it, along with the Republican National Committee, raised an eye-popping $141 million in May, with many of those donors contributing to the Trump re-election effort for the first time. Trump officials say that the campaign raised $53 million online in just the 24 hours after the former president's conviction. Other organizations supporting Trump brought in another $150 million last month. With more now, let's turn to CNN's Elena Treen. Elena, some might find it surprising to hear that a felony conviction actually led to a fundraising boost. Why do you think Republican donors are feeling so energized?
Well, there's a couple things here. And first of all, I just want to point out that this is very similar to what we saw, Rahel, in the immediate aftermath of the 4 criminal indictments brought against Trump last year. We saw a similar major boost in fundraising and support. But look, when I talk to people on the ground about this, as well as the Trump campaign, there's a few things they know. One is that many of Donald Trump's fiercest supporters believe exactly what Donald Trump and his campaign are saying, that this was a sham trial, that it was political, and that this is their way of standing by the former president. Another part of this as well is that Donald Trump is now the presumptive Republican nominee, and he has a lot more big donors in his back pocket than he did last year when he was facing these indictments as well. And so I think that, seeing all of this money come in is just a sign of how many more people are ready to support Donald Trump at this point in the campaign. But look, I think when you talk to Donald Trump's advisors about this, they say that this is them trying to make the most of what they view is a negative situation, of course, and it's an unprecedented conviction against a former president, and they recognize that they can capitalize on that both politically and financially. Now, you brought up the $141 million raised by the RNC and the Trump campaign. There's a couple of things I want to point out that's very interesting about this. One is that it is far more money than we have seen the Trump campaign raise really in this year and in his election, or his campaign, overall. It's also more than what Biden raised combined in March and April. And that's important to note because for months, Donald Trump's campaign has been trying to catch up to the Biden campaign in fundraising. Now it shows that they are likely on track to out-fundraise Joe Biden's campaign this month. They also outraised the Biden campaign last month. So that's really helpful for them as they look forward. We know that Donald Trump later this week is going to continue with a fundraising tour on the West Coast in California and in Vegas. And so this is something that is very important to the Trump campaign at this point in time. And one other thing that I think we have to be very clear about, Rahel, is that despite this immediate boost in fundraising, it's still very unclear how this will play out politically for the former president and his campaign. When I talk to Trump's advisors, they acknowledge that they do not know how this will impact him in the long term as they look ahead to November. And a key date that they're watching is July 11th. That's the current date for Donald Trump's sentencing in this case. And it's, again, unclear if Republicans leading up to the convention and after that sentencing date will potentially be turned off by this conviction, if specifically independent-leaning conservatives could be turned off by that conviction. That is still an unknown despite these fundraising numbers.